Hello, this will be another stream, possibly the last one with this shot. I am also going to be diving into the Maya file to see if we can do some of the fixes that I'm going to talk about. Let's get started by just playing this without the notes. I think this has come a long way compared to the first one. Yeah, definitely a long way. And there are just few main things that I wanted to focus on. It's just as you're going into the polish phase, make sure that each and every make a checkbox for yourself on the things that you want to hit, and things might get into like noodling phase where you keep on trying to fix things. So for example, trying to avoid the straight line, really straight line, and then a curved hand, rather than trying to go for a slight arc and then arcing the arm backward and trying not to bend the toe this direction too much. It's fine if the toe bends this side, but the other way we just can't bend it as much without force. That just feels like it's too floppy right now, or like a flexible, that there's no bone over there. It just feels fleshy. So definitely try to keep this rotation to the minimum, but you can push this rotation for the drag. At other places it actually looks good. So this all of this is fine. So this is also fine. But that just that one instead, it just looked a bit fleshy. And these are some good hand references that I found when I was learning animation and everything. So even with the hand, trying to make more appealing poses with the hand. And just give me 1 second. Okay, yeah. And trying to have more appealing poses, trying to make pairs and opening different fingers at a different with a different timing. And also, if you observe these angles with the hand and how the bones kind of rotate and how the muscle rotates as you rotate the hand, these are really some good references to get a good line of action, and just understanding the hand muscles in general, and how to make a fist and how to make the different angles and such. It's Chris and Norm. They have a book, but they also posted these comics or this one page references on Tumblr, and then they eventually made it into a book. But these are some really good references. And yeah, going back to that. So the reason that I wanted to talk to the fingers are because right now they just feel that they're all the finger controls are together rotated, and just feels a bit default rather than trying to get a really nice shape with the fist with an angle and a deeper angle, bit of an offset, trying to pair different sets of fingers. And especially over here, all the fingers kind of open up at the same time. That definitely will add a lot to the shot. Even here, all the fingers. So that's all comes under the polishing phase, and definitely try to get all those arcs in. And the biggest thing that I wanted to talk to you about, one of the biggest thing is the way that the leg rises over here. It's kind of not possible to put our entire weight on the toes and lift off. So generally we kind of lift off from the ball of the foot, toe, ball, and then the heel. So try to have that in contact. So this thing is achieved by having the foot roll and not the toe roll. So I'd love to have foot roll going up till here and then lifting off. And this is good. The last instant can be the toe, but the majority of the lift off should happen with the ball of the feet. That's one thing. All of this is working really good. And the thing that I wanted to talk about here is, if you observe here, as the character pushes off from this instant, 34. If you think about the hands, the head, and the COG, everything moves with the same linear even spacing. So I believe the hand should delay. If the spacing is like that, the hand should delay a bit and then increase the spacing and grab onto that. And each one of the other hand can have a very slight offset where maybe one hand reaches a bit early. I do see that they have a different silhouette, but in terms of the spacing as well, I will show that in the Maya on how to quickly achieve that. And the other thing that I think that still needs a bit of work is the hang time. And the reason for that is I think you've got the poses and all there. It's just the ease ins and ease outs. Right now it just feels like there's a, because the spacing from this instance to this instance kind of increases and then holds there. It feels like a cushion where you're pressing. There's a force applied in this direction and it just presses and then just comes out. Rather than for a pendulum where it's always oscillating, it would only come to rest at the bottom. Rather than that, right now it feels like that the pendulum is coming to rest at this instance where there's a force applied here. That's one thing that I will also show that in the Maya. All of this looks good. There is this one. This is kind of tough to do, that hand shift. I believe there's some kind of a different mechanic in the reference. Yeah, I think that's much more faster. I think the fingers are always touching. So there's some part of the hand which is in contact. I would try to get that in and also add in an angle rather than trying to get the entire finger up. For example, you could try rotating the wrist so that the pinky finger is the last to peel off and you have the entire hand out there, and then you kind of have a bit of an overlap with the fingers. But I think that's overall good. I think I just feel it because of the silhouette. That's one thing over there. All of the mechanics over here look really good. And just check the arc and the spacing of the feet. I will also show a tip on how to understand the spacing with the motion trail. But right now, look at the spacing of the feet over here. It just hits a wall and stops moving there. And it just feels like this leg suddenly increases in speed, overtakes the other leg, and then suddenly stops, and this leg again goes, which causes a bit of and again the leg suddenly goes up in one frame and then goes back. So that creates a pop, toe pop. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about was on how to create an offset between the body, the COG, and the legs so that all of them don't move together at the same time. And then trying to add a bit of an offset with the legs and then get in there. So these are the things, and I think I did ask to see a frontal version at the start, but I forgot about that. But let's jump into Maya and see how it is. Starting off with the frontal view, I just created a layer of the geo and put it in temp view, and I go for a back view to see the character. So I think at this point, overall it looks good. It's just trying to see some things over here and making sure that there are no pops and glitches in all views, because especially if you're going for gameplay, it has to look good in all. It has to look good all angles and stuff. For example, here there's a big pop with the chest. We have to try to avoid that. And there's one more thing that I found in the leg, where it just pops here. You see that leg pop? Yeah, so that's a huge pop in the right direction. And also the toe angle, this is very very tough to kind of have that, so I would just go into a perspective view and make sure that you massage those poses, trying to make sure that you have the right angle there. And with the run, the leg kind of stays close to the other leg, trying to put the leg in front of the other leg, kind of a thing. And then the so in this one, I generally try to leave the follow 0, because the follow is on every rotation that you do with the leg is actually moving the knee, and that's causing me to do a lot of back and forth animation. So I'd rather leave it 0, so that it does not follow the IK leg, and you can post it out completely different. But for now, I'm just gonna, where did that go? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as it is. So make sure that you're going to the front view as well, and oops. Yeah, so I think overall it's fine, just some pops and stuff here and there. You see the leg arc pop that's causing over there, and over here as well, the leg kind of goes inside and outwards, especially with the chest pop over here. You can clearly see it in the graph editor. Yeah, you see the huge rotation bump over there. That's what's causing that. And the other one was the overall direction of the shot. As he's running forward, there's a lot of left and right. Generally in a run, we tend to run straight with having one leg in front of each other. So he's going in a path like this, and he's trying to face the wall straight forward. But the jump, the hands and everything feel like he's going to hold here, but then he goes to the left. And all the mechanics over here are good. I would just try to work on the direction of where he's looking and where he's jumping based on the overall motion trail. So if you see, there's an overall motion trail going left. So I would just have like the head direction, make sure that it's pointing in the right direction, and also the chest kind of favoring that angle, so that he stays true to the path. Over here as well. Staying true to the path, so that it arcs well, and at the same time he's also looking there. Just connecting all parts of the body so that everything works together. So that's one more thing, and like look at the hand thing that I was going to talk about. Yeah, so it just comes up, holds there, and it's too many frames, I guess. Yeah, that's about 7 frames. I think you can do it in 5 frames. So I would probably have something like this, where there's a slight delay with the pinky finger, and there's a slight angle to that. So there's a slight offset that you're kind of trying to give, and according to that you would also animate the fingers so that they are the ones who are leaving the contact last. So for this you could just give an offset where I delayed them. No, I actually leaded them, so I delayed them here so that the pinky finger comes last. I would also delay these two. Yeah, you get that nice offset over there. The pinky finger is also coming to the end. And the other thing was the COG, the biggest thing. Yeah, let's do that. So once you have the editable motion trail, I don't know how you are tracking arcs, but you can just select the control and visualize editable motion trail. But additionally, you can switch on the spacing as well. by going to show frame crosses, and you can see the spacing of what happens on every frame. So if I were to look at the spacing over here, just this area, I believe you do have a lot of frames there. Yeah, the hold over here. So the spacing, the pendulum goes back. And holds at the corner. And there is definitely the high spacing that's required. And it just holds there for a bit, is what I feel. And it doesn't really come back to the center. So what you can do is, yeah, there's just too many frames here. Oh, that's so weird. Why is it just there? Not really moving. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm wondering if there's anything between 50 and 53. Yeah, so it's just moving in the side space, but not exactly in the forward space. So I would definitely try to have it maybe hold here and keep going in the other direction. I probably should have keep there before. Yeah, making sure that it doesn't kind of come to a hold over there. Yeah, I do get the pendulum feeling, but now it's just making sure to give enough frames for that. And then slowly ease out. We'll check the arcs soon, but yeah, I do get the arc there. Needs more frames though. Yeah. Let's see how this is going to look. Yeah, now we have to fix the spacing between these two. That's too much. So I'm just going to go here and give more time to that. Yeah. So that's one more thing. I believe there's one more thing that I thought. Yeah, the fingers. They're broken. No. Yeah, this finger is broken. This is 2. The fingers can't rotate in that direction, so try to zero them out and give them a nice thing. So yeah, basically this can go even inside. This can go further in. And I believe this rig has... Yeah, try to use these as well, because these actually rotate from in here a bit. But I don't think this rig is that good. They have the metacarpal controls which move this part of the mesh to, which can give really nice shapes. But right now, make sure that you can curl them and stuff. And I believe there was something here that I saw. Yeah. Yeah, these ones. Try to give them a nice angle and stuff. So yeah, the other thing about polishing is, let me see if I missed anything. Hands, fingers. Yeah, the hand arc. So believe this is an IK. And yeah, you do have a lot less keys. Oh, you're changing to FK to IK. That's fine. Okay, so that's cool. So you have FK. I would select all the FK controls, and actually create a selection set for with everything. Deleting the motion trail, selecting all the controls, custom, create sets, quick select set. So you anyway have keys throughout. I don't know what controls you have the keys on, but since you have controls throughout anyway, I am going to bake them. Found the script online, just bake them. This is one of the polishing method. I wouldn't say the only, but just in terms of offsets and everything, this has been helpful. And if I'm opening someone else's file, so that just making sure that there's a key on everything. So let's say we are going from here until here, right? And I wanted to have faster timing because hands in general, wrists are in general are less heavier than the COG head and hips. So I wanted to have a faster timing. Let's say I do this. So I've potentially reduced the made sure that the spacing of those increases, and move them maybe one frame delay. Oh, sorry, lead. Yeah, and then offset them by frame. I will let's say this is the one that leads, so I'll just deselect that and select these all, and rotate all of them and move them by one frame, so that you get a slight offset that this hand is going forward, and you have that nice offset where this hand starts coming towards the roof, but the other hand is also going backward, and you get one frame offset as it lands. I would just select this one. I did not select the IK controls when I made the selection set, so I would have to bake these separately. You don't need to bake for my process, the process that I'm using right now, but it's because I do not know where the keyframes are. I'm just doing that. So okay, that they're going to the same spot. So I would maybe just take this and add a key where it's just taking some time. Yeah, and just delay that. It's a bit of a delay with that. And this also actually helps clearing out the arcs over here with the COG. Oh yeah, the leg arc that I was talking about, the leg pop over here. Is it over here? Yeah, this one. So it just pops over here. So at this point, what I would just do is delete this key, so that it has more frames for it to happen. And I would want more frames because this is still kind of sticking, and you actually have frames until here. So I can delete 3 more frames. Yeah, let's say this is the final frame. I'm making sure that it happens earlier, and then it starts coming back earlier too. And this has a pop, this is actually kind of a similar way to clean up mocap as well. So you can apply this procedure over there as well, deleting this key. Just making sure that you eyeball everything, and let's say now we want an offset. So now let's say we want this leg to delay. I'm just gonna take this and push it one frame later. You see that offset that it's created, the other leg is following, and this leg comes back and it also kind of gets the same kind of spacing. I'm gonna do the same thing again where the legs are the one which reach late. So I'm gonna have to delay this by 2 frames. And the other trick is to, if you wanna delay the rotation and stuff, with the translation, I do have sync timeline display and sync graph editor display. So I could potentially just select the rotation, and this rotation would reflect whatever I changes I do will reflect only with the rotations. So let's say I want the rotations to happen before the translations. I could potentially take all of this and then push them 1 frame forward so that the rotations happen first and then the translation occurs. I could do the same thing with the translations and delay them 1 bit. So rotation occurs first and then in the translation it gives an offset, and now there's I need more hang time, let's say over here. The spacing is too much over here, so let's say I do want more time. I do have to take the time from somewhere else. So let's say I will speed this things up, and now I have more time to give here, and I will just push that out. And now the biggest problem with this approach is that there's keys on decimal frames, and that's always a suggested not to have that. I could select all the keys and just pick them again. Done. So in that way I would actually try to give a punch in the timing as well. For example, I think this part can be a bit faster, just the jump and over there, over the jump. So maybe I'd like to hold this area a bit more. So I will select all the frames between here and I will push them so that I have a very slight hold here before he jumps off, and this part is which is already fast becomes faster. And maybe I would like hold here, so I can take all the things over here and push them this side so that there is a hold over here and this becomes faster. And in order to blend this area, I could potentially ease that part out. I think the hold is too much. Just a trial and error, but you get the idea. So that's pretty much. And yeah, I think I'm yet to fix the COG over there. I'll just switch to Animbot's arcing tool because that's much more better, I would say. But it's just about mainly trying to, let's see if you have yeah, this is pretty good. So yeah, let's fix the arc over here. So it's just the translation Z going back and forward and back, right? So we have the back here, and then coming forward. So you don't need this much of a hold. So it's ideally better to maybe just have like a frame over here. Delete the keys. Reduce the hold. And have one more extreme over here. Hold there. And have the hold here at the center point of the pendulum. I'm trying to not use unimbot to try to give in the easings, but generally, yeah. Yeah, I think that kind of fixed the spacing. I would still reduce the amount of hold over there. I could potentially just push this up, reduce the hold. Massaging the curves. So I think this whole thing can happen a bit further, reducing the amount of frames. Yeah, and with the baking method, this helps me move away from the original key poses that I've put and freely move the keys, because at the end of exist there's keys everywhere. So I just try to focus on curve by curve basis. If you see here, this is another thing that I would have to tackle here. To try to get an arc in that angle as well. If you see the graph, it's a big mess. So I would make sure that each arc is going in the right way. So you see there's a spike in the spacing over there. So I would pick the extreme, it is this one, and delete a bunch of keys on the left and the right side, and try to have a smooth transition as I go there. Something like that. That's a big pop as well, so I wouldn't want that. So this is stuff, right? So yeah, I would just delete all of this. Yeah, pretty much that. So hopefully this helps you understand how to add. I think there's a shoulder pop as well, the chest pop. There we go. It's a big pop. I believe this is a rotation pop. I think it's a gimbal issue. I'll check that. Hopefully that helps, and let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, I would track the arc for the legs to over here. As the legs come back, I can give an offset here just by taking all of this, pushing it one frame left, leading it. Oh, I just selected the rotation by, that's a mistake. I would delay this potentially. I would have to pick from the moment that in the air. Hold on, yeah, slight offset there. Make sure that once I do that, I have to make sure that I don't have any of those pops as well. Yeah, sometimes this is an issue. But yeah, now I can have a bit of an overshoot and delete these frames. Yep, hopefully that makes sense for the baking approach and just seeing things to polish. For example, in the front view, I see this bit of chest pops over there, and the chest pops over here too. Yep. And yeah, I did look at your mocap test too. I think that's pretty good, but just in terms of making sure that you have a cleaner version, I think this cleaner version is definitely looking good. My main focus was to see the direction of the knee, and it should always be facing forward like the other leg is. So that's one thing, and this feels a little too even with the hands, but I think once you have that gun over there, it just makes sense. And I think you did fix the knee as well, so that's good stuff. But this would, and yeah, definitely I would try to add more up and down. Right now it just feels like he's hopping on some punch, like the rocks and stuff, making, because I don't see enough bend for him to actually kind of jump forward. And I would so this is like the first step of cleaning up a run, let's say. There is this video that I found as well, and he made a tutorial about this a while back on how to have a character run in multiple directions. So I think this is something which comes in added to the current run that you have right now, on how you would rotate, like add layers so that the character is looking at one side and changing the leg position. So this would be a really good example to show how much you can take a run mocap to by adding layers and such. He uses animbot, but I think you can use layers on how you can take one run cycle and make it into a different run cycles, forward run cycle, backward run cycle, left run cycle, all sorts of things. Strafing, rotating, bending, and maybe like how you would incorporate a stop or a stumble onto this running cycle. And but this is I think this is pretty good. I do not know how the character is as it's moving forward, but I would maybe like a profile view to see the leg slides if there are any in the cleanup version, in the non-cleanup version. But this is pretty good. That's just one thing that I wanted to share. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All the very best. Have a good day.